What fascinated me more than anything is the power of the human mind. When you want something really, really badly in your life, the obstacles you can overcome. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. Most of the world stands by the elevator button, hits it over and over again, repeats the same behavior again just to get the same results, and then says, why? Why does it always happen to me? Maybe it's destiny. It's got to be some kind of force. Every time I come to speak and every time I work with a company or an organization, what I hear over and over again is, oh, change. People don't like change. Most of the people resist change. How do we learn to embrace it? Where's the problem with change? Anybody here works in a building that has an elevator? Raise your hand if you do. Elevators? Okay. Watch this. Tell me if you've ever seen this before. I mean, seriously? How many times do you see this? Someone comes to the elevator, they hit the button, the elevator's not coming, so what do? What do? Hit again. And it's not coming, so what do? Hit again, longer and harder, and now with frustration because it's not coming any faster. And I like to look, I'm an observer, I like to look at people and behavior, that's just my thing, it's my hobby. So I looked at this and I thought to myself, how come? How come our mind is wired so that we do things that don't make any sense? Because we all know if you ask anybody would tell you the elevator's not coming any faster if you hit it over and over again, right? And we still do it. Me too, right? So I asked myself, why? And then I asked myself, Michelle, where in your life do you do that? Where in your life do you stand by the elevator button and you hit it over and over and over again and then with increased intensity just to get the same result? And this, my friends, because by now we're friends, this is the basis of change. Because by default, when we're not focused, we're always going to stand there in our lives with the people we love and with the people we need, and we're going to hit the elevator button over and over again and repeat the same behaviors just to get the same results. So everything that we'll talk about today has to do with how do we not do that? Because most of the world, outside of you guys, because we're going to do something differently today, and I'll teach you how to negate that, but most of the world does exactly that. Most of the world stands by the elevator button, hits it over and over again, repeats the same behavior again, just to get the same results, and then says, why? Why does it always happen to me? Maybe it's destiny. It's got to be some kind of force. No, it's not. You're standing by the elevator button. Every time I come to speak and every time I work with a company or an organization, what I hear over and over again is, oh, change. People don't like change. Everybody resists change, or most of the people resist change. It's a big problem. How do we learn to embrace it? And then I asked myself, just because I like to ask questions, why? Why do people not like change? Where's the problem with change? Why don't people just say, hey, listen, I'm standing there by the elevator button, hitting the button over and over again. I feel like doing something different because I want to get a different result, so I'm just going to do something different. That's great for me. That's a great opportunity. How about I do that? And instead, you get large groups of people that dig their heels in the ground and say, I don't want to do that. We've been doing it that way for 30 or 40 or 20 or 10 or whatever, 15 years, and it worked just fine. So I asked myself, why do people resist change? And here's the truth. Our brain, your brain, takes about 20% of your energy just to get by. That means that to come here today, sit here with me, maybe answer some emails in the morning, a little bit of social media, a little bit of the news, get dressed, talk to some people, come here and sit with me, that's 20% of your energy already. That's a huge amount of energy just to do your day-to-day. Every time you ask yourself or your team members to do something different, you are basically asking them to spend more than the 20%. You're asking them to work harder, and you're asking their brains to spend more energy, and the brain doesn't like that. The brain says, come on, leave me alone. I'm perfectly fine being on the 20%. I would rather stay there. So when you are working to create a change, whether as a leader that leads their team through new technology, new regulations, new leadership, new expectation, or in your personal life, you are basically asking your brain or other people's brain to spend more than 20%. So basically, we are working against our own brain. Because the brain will always pull towards standing by the elevator button, repeating the same behaviors over and over again. And so we'll talk today about how to do that. How to help your team members embrace change, even if it's asking them to spend more than the 20%.
This may be the day that things change for you. You know, I look at life as if it was some kind of a ship. You start life, ship goes in the ocean. I mean, you don't have to put anything in the GPS. It's a ship, it's going, right? You're going to end up somewhere, doing something, living somehow. But wouldn't it be much better if we all pulled away for a minute, just for an hour this morning, and said, you know what, with all due respect, I want to decide what goes in the GPS of the ship of my life. Because let me tell you something, whatever you put in there, if you want it bad enough, it's going to happen. That is the magic of how the human mind works.